the presidents who followed him followed through the years. So what could we see under Team Biden? Fiona Harrigan from Young Voices is back on the show. She's live and she's up late with me here on the Final Five. Welcome back, Fiona. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
All right, so let's talk about this. We talk about being students of history here, and we know that especially over the last several administrations, regardless of what John Quincy Adams had to say so long ago, that's not necessarily advice they followed. But what was the driving message here that we learned from President Adams?
Right. So John Quincy Adams, I think he's overlooked in favor of presidents like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, but he was this really outstanding statesman. And he gave a famous speech on the 4th of July in 1821. And the famous line now that a lot of people in the restraint-based foreign policy camp like to repeat is his wish for the United States and its foreign policy goals. And he said, "She does not go abroad in search of monsters to destroy." And in this speech, he continued, and he wished that the United States would encourage from afar the freedom and independence of nations around the world, but that he wouldn't vindicate those causes. The United States wouldn't. And over the years, that's really fallen to the wayside, right? We've seen this age emerge of forever wars and
right.
of foreign entanglement, and you can kind of see his advice proving a little prescient for the time that he gave it in.
You know, to think about the current generation. You know, I believe I was 11 when we went to war with Saddam Hussein, and then that wrapped up very quickly. But then 10 years later, we had the war with Saddam. We had the war in Iraq, and it's amazing to think about this perpetual cycle we find ourselves in. Many people have said that President Trump, they give him credit for not getting us into any wars over the last 4 years. When you look at the foreign policy team that President Biden has put together, do we have any indications about what kind of policy they may adapt moving forward?
Yeah, we do. So Biden specifically and his Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, they fall into this broadly liberal internationalism camp, which might sound good on the surface, but at the same time, it actually means a pretty active role on the world stage, and it means entanglement in a lot of conflicts, as kind of one of the central tenets of that is that you champion the liberal cause around the world. Necessarily that involves some kind of entanglement. So Blinken and Biden have been very forward in saying that America needs to lead again, that the last 4 years under Donald Trump have seen us withdrawing from institutions and throwing kind of treaties and agreements to the wayside, and that's dangerous, and that an evil power might take the place of the United States if we're not on the world stage to champion our moral cause. So we see them using this rhetoric very early in the administration, and though they've only been in office for about a month now, it's foreboding and a little ominous of the next 4 years.
When we talk about diplomacy, and President Trump had, I think back to Little Rocket Man, and it seemed at various moments, we almost felt like, at least from the national rhetoric and the temperature of the room, so to speak, that we could have gone to war with one of any adversaries at any given point. Is there anybody that you see on the horizon? Is there any nation, is there any predominant topic that this country would be possibly poised to go to war, or at least involve the military in?
I think involving the military is a bit of a sketchy process from here on out. I doubt that Biden would be inclined to do that. I do think that it's very likely that we're going to see continuation of a lot of trade wars, in the sense that there are tariffs that he hasn't abolished just yet. A lot of the talking points regarding China, it's still very much in a Trumpian sense, a war. However, you think about his engagement in Iran, and it's completely different than what Donald Trump's engagement was of the past 4 years. I think under Trump, that was the most likely option for us to go to a traditional military-based war. Biden seems to be taking a different approach. He's still hardlining Iran in terms of negotiations, but I don't think it's likely to turn violent in any meaningful way.
All right, Fiona Harrigan. Hey, Fiona, thank you very much. I know we were going to have you on last week to talk about this, and things happen in the world, but thank you very much for staying up late with us tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Final Five comes back after the break.